Hello! Today we will learn how to implement external forms in Navigator 365 system. So to start with, the Navigator 365 is a platform to build applications for internal use of the company. So only logged in user with the login and password can actually use these applications and be a part of the workflow. However, there are situations where we need to go with our system outside. And for doing this, we have created something called anonymous user. So the good example of this is when we want to, for example, do the recruitment process. So we want our application to be available outside of our system, not inside of our system. So if I go now into recruitment application, you can see that we have applications and let's say active applications, and if I go inside, then we have this different data here about the applicant. So we have this his agreement and some general data, candidate details, but then we start going to more internal information like candidate evaluation, workflow, and so on. So it's very important to actually make sure that these permissions are set correctly. Otherwise, anonymous user could see too much. Now, there are a few things you need to take into consideration when doing this. Let me just show you the important stuff so you know how to create your own anonymous user and name it however you want it and start using it in the processes outside of your business. Let's go inside to the back office in here, and first thing I want to show you is the forms. So you can listen more about permission system in the tutorial about permissions. However, I'll just quickly say what's important. So there is an anonymous dashboard I want to show you. So this is the dashboard you can, for example, put on someone's website, or you can create a link and send it to someone so they can fill in the application. However, if you want to fill in the application, you have to be able to access two different documents. One of them is an application itself and campaigns of the job positions. So you need to set the permissions of each of these documents for the anonymous user. So if I go into permissions, you can see that you can add, we have put here that anonymous user can add permission, have an add permission, so it can add a document. However, it cannot control or edit or read this document after. So it only can add the document and it lands in a system. Now, the anonymous user is a specific user of in a system which doesn't really apply to this document access and document creator permissions. So whether I put here addition or read only, it doesn't really apply to the anonymous user. And to make sure this happens, you need to go into the system. I'll leave now the back office, and if I go into all users, there is a user created here called anonymous user. Now in here, what's important is to tick this one. Once this one is ticked, the system knows that the anonymous user has almost no permissions without the system, can only access this what we allow him to do. And so this is to make sure that you have the anonymous user set up. Also, it doesn't really need a name anonymous user. It could be applicant for new job position. But important is to set this tick here that this user is anonymous user. Now, the other thing, I'll go back now to this recruitment application, and I will go inside and go into the form. So in this application, permissions is one thing to set, but also we wouldn't like them to see these tabs like candidate evaluation. So if I now double click on general, this is a different tabs we have. And going in here, there is no conditions of visibility. So basically anybody, even anonymous user, can see it. Same would be with candidate details, but if I go now into candidate evaluation, I have the condition set that it's only visible for the HR department. And this would be efficient enough for anonymous user to not to see it. And same we have done with the workflow, comments and permissions. So anonymous user can only go into general tab and fill the data, then the details, and basically save the form in the system, and it lands in HR. Now, I think important is to show you how to do it. So if I go into these forms and this anonymous dashboard, now one thing important to know that the dashboard itself has no permissions on their own. So you need to set up the documents who are appearing on a dashboard with specific permissions, but not the dashboard itself. So if I now go into the form, so this is what we want them to see. Yeah? So we want them to be able to create an account, leave the CV, apply for the position. So again, going back to the forms, and in here in the back, you can do embed code. And now this is already inclusive in our system. The system creates the links for you. So you have the browser link. So if I copy this one, you can, for example, put this one in your email and send to someone to apply for the job. Or you can do an external link somewhere, and if I put it here, now this is how it would be looking in the in somewhere else as an anonymous user. Now the other option we have is the iframe. So you can again copy a link for the iframe, and if I put it on the website, for example, we have done it on our website NAVIGATOR365.com, then you can see that if you enter it as an iframe somewhere, this would look similar to the web page itself. So now if I go into apply, you can see that this person only sees general and candidate details, and once put here, another window will appear and he can put more details in here and candidate details in here and press save. And in this case, this would be enough to send the application into our system from external to our internal system. This is how you make these forms available outside and these external forms. You can check other tutorials we have, especially I would recommend to check the permission tutorial to understand completely how this permission system works within Navigator 365. Thank you very much.